Manager destroyed my headphones, so I destroyed the restaurant. I worked at a fast food restaurant, and at the time this happened, I'd been working there for a year and a half. A bit of context, I was 17 at the time, and I have anxiety. It can vary in the severity on a daily basis, but I sometimes have really bad sensory overload. So I bought myself a pair of noise-canceling Bluetooth headphones that can block out all noise. These cost me $220. These were a major investment for me, as I was only a part-timer and made about $160 to $300 a month, depending on how many shifts I worked. One day was particularly busy, so I didn't get my break until 5.5 hours into my 8-hour shift. Technically illegal because I was 17, UK child labor laws apply, but I didn't say anything, as either giving us our breaks way too late or way too early and having too much time afterwards was a common occurrence here. Anyway, on this one day I was on my break. I had just gotten my food and sat down in the staff room with my headphones on. I had no music on, but the quality of noise canceling was that good, I couldn't hear anything. I'm sitting there eating with my back to the door, and my manager walks in demanding me back on shift as soon as possible. I don't hear this, but also remember, I was like 5 minutes into my 45-minute break. He must have thought I was purposely ignoring him because he came up to my side and started screaming so loud I could hear his voice through the earphones. It wasn't that loud, but I could hear it. I go to take off my headphones and he starts shouting louder, calling me ignorant, good for nothing, and how he needed me back on now, no excuses. Hearing this, I was on the verge of tears, trying to stop a panic attack from happening. I try to calmly explain that I've only just gone on break and I'm still eating. If he wants me back after I finished eating, I'll come back, but not earlier. I pointed at the dessert I had purchased from the store, as if to say, look, I've spent money here, I'm eating this before I do anything. He storms out and I quickly collect my things and go sit in the front with customers, as to avoid any more employees or managers. The restaurant was fairly busy, but still had a number of free seats, and as I was technically a paying customer, I was allowed on front, even though it was busy. I sit down and finish eating my meal and my dessert. I pull my phone out to check if I have any messages. Instantly, I felt someone tug on my shoulder. It was my manager again. My headphones were on, so I had no idea what he said, but he then violently snatched my headphones off my head, pretty much hitting me in the process, and snapped my headphones and told me to get back to work. Normally, I would have just shut down and be unable to process what happened, but my parents had talked to me a lot about my rights. Because of my mental state, I could be a pushover. My manager, looking proud of himself, told me to get back to work. I told him to go F himself and pay me back for my property. At this point, the whole restaurant, about 20 customers, are staring at us. He said he isn't gonna pay me jack crap because I'm incompetent, and the headphones were a piece of junk anyways. I was pissed, and I told him that was illegal. He just chuckled and went sue me. So in my proudest moment ever, I went to my bag and took out my notebook. Anyone who saw what happened there, I want a statement off you. I'll require some personal details, and I require a bit of your time, so please stay here if you can. If not, leave a name and number and we'll get it later. My manager looked shocked at me. I stormed into the kitchen and grabbed one of the assistant managers. Figure of speech, didn't actually grab it, and made him back up the CCTV so it couldn't be deleted. Then I went around getting people to write what they saw and leave names, numbers, etc. My manager just stood there and starts instantly apologizing. I pull out my phone and then call the police and explain what happened. They come and arrest him, I give the statements. They double check everything with everyone who left, and they got the CCTV. He was charged with criminal damage and assault. He wasn't imprisoned, instead given probation. But while all this was going on, I managed to sue him and the restaurant. The restaurant under discrimination, as the headphones were coping with my anxiety and also breaking child labor laws. The restaurant was fined thousands and had to shut down while they had to pay out $4,000 for the discrimination. The manager himself ended up having to pay $1,600, including court fees, for property damage and emotional damage, including counseling fees.